Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dubai Toastmasters Club. Welcome to meeting 684. I'm Toastmaster Rashmi. I'll be your Sergeant at Arms for this evening. Most of you might be knowing the legacy of Toastmasters Club. For the past quarter century, had one mission: to improve communication and leadership skills among its members and thereby give better self-confidence and a growth in personality. We do this based on the four main values of Toastmasters International, which is respect, integrity, service, and excellence. Here in Toastmasters Club, we create a very positive and supportive learning experience to empower each and every member of Toastmasters Club. And apart from these four values based on which we work on, we do have taboo topics on which we don't speak about: politics, sex, and religion. I would request all of you to refrain from speaking on these three topics, respecting the sentiments of the region. And this being an online meeting, I would also like to request all of you to mute your microphones throughout the meeting unless you are invited to make a speech. And you may choose to keep your camera on, showing your beautiful smiling faces, but please do restrict yourself, avoid unnecessary movements that might cause a distraction to the speaker or anyone else in the room. Or you might even choose to turn off your camera. And if you're driving, connecting to this meeting might not be a good idea, because even this meeting is definitely not worth the risk. And having said that, I have one more information, which is that we will be recording this meeting, as you have noticed just now. In case if you wish your audio or video not to be featured, you can write to us at toastmasters7492@gmail.com. I'll be putting up the email ID in the chat box very soon for you to make a note of. That's it. No more rules and regulations. You can sit back, relax, and enjoy this meeting at the comfort of your home. We have a lot of interesting activities lined up for the day. Now, let me have the privilege to welcome our new president, the vibrant, the most creative president of Dubai Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Sagar Khurana. Over to you, Toastmaster Sagar.
Thank you, Sergeant Toastmaster Rashmi, for a wonderful introduction. I'm audible, right? And you can see me also. Thank you for the confirmation. Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you at the 684th meeting of our Dubai Toastmasters Club. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those you have been for a long time, and for those who are very new to the group. Welcome to one of the most valuable platforms where you will learn public speaking, communication skills, and leadership skills. I officially declare meeting number 684 open. Many people kick us like a rolling football, but they don't know that they are sending us near our goals. This is said by Dr. Sonu Sharma. This is a story of two boys, Rahul and Tilak. They both lived in a small village, and they both have a very big dreams, as most of the people have been, we also have very big dreams. So they both have the big dreams, becoming rich, having a lot of fame, and enjoying their life to the fullest. So one day they both went to the family function in Mumbai, and they observed that they went to the Mumbai where they have family function there. So they noticed that there are small kids, they are speaking English very fluently, and everyone is impressed by those kids, and everyone is praising them. So when they returned back from the function, Tilak told Rahul that yes, we both will learn English and we will also be famous. Then suddenly Rahul started laughing on him and said, "You are stupid. They are very rich, they have a lot of resources, and we are very poor, and no one will help us to learn that part." But Tilak decided, no, we will learn English and no one can stop us from learning. But Rahul said, no, I cannot support you. You want to learn, you can learn. So what happened? Tilak started learning, and he started different ways to learn. He take help from villagers. He take help from the teachers who was coming, sometimes in their village as a guest. So he started learning each and everything from them. Then he started speaking. When he started speaking, he was fully wrong. So when he was speaking, someone was there to correct him. No, you are speaking that word incorrectly. So that's how he started learning. Then he started practicing in villages. So what happened? His friends, all the villagers, different people, they were there to criticize him. They started laughing. You are speaking wrong. What you will do? Leave this part. But he said no. He was so passionate and dedicated that he used all his energy into learning rather than listening to the critics. And yes, after 5 years of continuous learning, he became proficient in that language, and he became so famous in village that people not only from his village, even from different villagers or different villages, they come to learn from him. Even some of the parents coming from different villages requesting him to teach their children. So now the moral of the story is that we all have to become Tilak, not Rahul. I'm not saying that we all have to learn English. All I am saying is we have to take risk in our life. If you will not take risk, you are not achieving anything extra. So as a Toastmaster, I will request all the new members, all the guests, that if you are joining Toastmasters, don't be shy. Take risk as much as you want, because Toastmaster is one of the best platforms, to overcome your fear and achieve as much as you can. Thank you. Now I would like to share my TTC presentation. Uh, Devi, you can see, right? Thank you. Okay. So once again, welcome to the Dubai Toastmasters Club, meeting number 684. Now, he is one of the most amazing person. He is the founder of Toastmasters. He is none other than our very own late Dr. Ralph Smatley. He opened the Toastmasters on 22nd October in 1924. Almost 96 years we already completed. Toastmasters headquarters are in Colorado, USA. Currently, we are having more than 364,000 members in different countries, in more than 145 countries. We have 150 plus clubs only in UAE and 3,000 plus members in UAE. The principal place where the headquarters located is Inglewood, Colorado, USA. Our CEO is Daniel Rex, and our international president is Richard Ipak DTM. These are the different regions of Toastmasters ranging from 1 to 14, and different region have their different district, then division, then area, then club. Now, these are the international leaders of Toastmasters, starting from international president DTM Richard Peck, region 11 director DTM Aleta, our very own handsome DTM Gurvinder Pun, district director, our division B director Toastmaster Rajita, our area 20 director Toastmaster Nita, and myself, president Dubai Toastmasters Club. So these are our heroes, XCOM heroes for this year, 2021-22, and most of the XCOMs are present today. Starting from President Sagar Kurana, VP Education Toastmaster Devi, VP Membership Toastmaster Noora, Toastmaster Nisha for PR, Tiza for Treasurer, Sabil for Secretary, and Toastmaster Rashmi for Secretary. Now, why we should join Toastmasters? So there are a lot of advantages you are getting from joining Toastmasters. These are the some points. We will become more confident. You will become, best speakers. You will become good communicators, leaders. You can improve your public speaking skills. You can enjoy unlimited personal growth throughout your life. Gain a competitive advantage in the workplace, build self-confidence and self-awareness. And there are a lot of things you will learn from Toastmasters. Now, this is something education program from Toastmasters that we call the pathways. Currently, there are 11 pathways There are different pathways you can see: engaging humor, innovative planning, effective coaching. So from these pathways, you will learn different kind of things like management, confidence, public speaking, strategic leaderships, and many more. If we talk about our own club, it was started 25 years back in 1996. It's the second club in UAE full of knowledgeable persons, members who are having experience more than 25 years, 30 years, and there are members also who are newly joined. We not only have formal and professional process to conduct every meeting, we have a lot of fun too. Yes, today we are having a lot of fun as we have our own humorous champion as a TMOD. So you'll see the lot of fun activities happening today. If you talk about the membership fees, currently we have 750 dirham for 1 year and 450 dirham for 6 months. And there is a one-time registration fee of 75 dirham. If anyone wants to join Toastmasters Club, not only for joining, even any query you have for related to the clubs, you can call our VP membership, Toastmaster Noora. So these are the some pictures we have taken through different meetings. Like when we celebrated our 25th anniversary this year. So these are the some glimpses of that. We learn best in moments of enjoy. Thank you so much. I will stop sharing now, just a minute. Now I would like to welcome our dignitaries present today. I would like to acknowledge them, starting from our very own master, our mentor, club mentors, uh, DTM Dr. Balan Vijay Kumar. Welcome, sir, to the meeting. The past president, Toastmaster Mohammad Rashid. Welcome, Mohammad Rashid. Welcome, DTM Ramesh. I can see. And also welcome Reginald Rajan. After a long time, thank you for coming. And yes, how can I forget this person? Welcome, DTM VP Menon to our meeting. Now, I would like to request our guest who has come today for this special meeting. So I will request one by one. If someone can come directly as a volunteer, can come. Nizar Ahmed.
Hi, sorry, I'm muted actually. That's the reason there's a big break. Myself, Nisar, I'm currently working here in UAE as design and estimation head for Bahrain Masroi Group. And I'm completely unaware about this platform. It's just, I heard this from my previous colleague, Noman, actually. So he was proudly said many things about Toastmasters, but I didn't get a chance to join till today. So I took a call this last week. I think I contacted Mr. Sagar actually, and he has guided me to reach here this platform, and then he mentioned about this session today, which is happening actually. So I'm really excited to know what exactly happening with the platform and how can it be beneficial mutually.
Welcome Nizar to our meeting. I'm very sure that after some months, we'll proudly say about Toastmaster also to other members.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Welcome. Now I would like to call Patricia. Patricia is not here. May I request Fees?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. Really looking forward to this session. My name is Fiz. I work as a teacher at Safa British School. Lived in Dubai for over 12 years. I'm looking forward to learning, to be an effective communicator, improve on leadership skills, and just also network with other people as well.
Welcome, please, welcome.
Thank you.
Now I would like to request to come April in July. I can request our own guest April.
Hi, everybody. So glad to be here. I'm April. I was Toastmaster back in China for 1 year, but it was all already half years ago. And now I'm currently studying UK, but I will come to Dubai next week. And I hope I can join this club meeting a little bit more in the future. And glad to meet you all.
Thank you, April, for coming in July. Thank you so much. I can see Roshan Patel. Would you like to say something?
I'm Roshan. I am here in Dubai from last 3.5 years. I am currently engineering lead in Noon.com, one of the e-commerce company here in UAE. So yeah, I'm here to just learn a bit of communication and more on the leadership and also connections, because yeah, I have inspiration to be startup. I have something around the startup. So yeah, just here to learn all those connections. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Roshan. Anyone wants to come? I can see Mr. Ati.
Yes, my name is Ati Asi. I am a Palestinian architect, serial entrepreneur. I've been here in the UAE for the past 19 years. And recently I started getting more engaged with the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I've been invited for a few events to be a panelist or a speaker. I was thinking that I'm quite strong and good in public speaking, but I was freaking out and I lost my mind in some of those events and I was a bit scared and I thought, what's happening to me? That was the experience which pulled me to be with the lovely faces here, and I'm glad to be with you all here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Now I would like to call Mr. Bob or someone like Richu Thomas. Anyone wants to introduce?
Yeah, I've been around for a few years as well. I hope that my association with the club can sharpen my, public speaking know-how. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. And I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. You came to the right place. Okay, so not delaying furthermore, I will request all the guests, they can introduce themselves in the chat box. Moving further now, we all are waiting for this today's special meeting. Now, I would like to introduce a special person of today. He is popularly known as a Toastmasters from last 19 years. His home club is Dubai Toastmasters Club. He actively mentors different Toastmasters club and he's also been instrumental in starting many new Toastmasters club around the district. He was the club growth director of District 105 in UAE, including Oman, Jordan, Lebanon in 2017-18. With 20 plus years of experience in the corporate world, he is now passionately venture UV consultant, his own training company. He spends a lot of time coaching and mentoring people in the community to help improve their communication and leadership skills and helping them to be a better version of themselves. It will take a lot of years, for me, if someone is saying a lot of lines for me, but for him, it's like this. So let's all together welcome the most favorite of all the beautiful girls and favorite of Toastmasters, our very own DTM VP Menon.
Thank you, President Sagar. Welcome to the 684th meeting of Dubai Toastmasters Club. A big welcome to all the guests and of course to all the members. Today we have a packed session. We have a lot of roles. We have project speeches, evaluations, table topics, education session, and many things, and the time is limited also. So CB, I have just started speaking, so you can show me the red light after a few minutes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure.
So welcome, and I will be the Toastmaster of the day. For the benefit of guests, it's like an MC, so somebody who just coordinates the whole meeting. It's especially the role players who will do the different roles, who will drive the meeting. I will just be a link between each of those role players, and whenever you do the Toastmaster of the day role, you have some theme, around which the meeting is built. So my theme for today is stories and beyond. Yeah, and I will be sharing a few slides in between. But before we start off, I don't think there is any change in the agenda, and also I wish to thank all the role players for supporting me in this. Fantastic roles we already saw. Rashmi coming on board as the new Sergeant at Arms, and that super super duper opening of a meeting. Yeah, very well done. And then of course President Sagar, who's doing it for the second time today, and he already started off with the story. I mean, the theme itself. So he started off with the story. Let me just share a screen with you with some slides, which will help us to move ahead with the theme. So I hope the slide is visible. Rashmi, you can just give me a nod if you can see the slide. Very nice. So this was for guests who have not seen. These are the posters that the team put out for the meeting. So the theme itself is stories and beyond. Now, when we talk about stories, actually, I don't need to speak to you about the power of stories. All of you know, yeah, because you're all adults, and from childhood you've been hearing stories. Now, no. Yeah, that was the story in between. So, so from childhood, you've been hearing stories. In fact, we've been telling stories, right? We've been cooking up stories, especially to our spouses and to our bosses. Yeah, that's two people whom we dish up a lot of stories. We've been watching stories. I mean, we see movies with a lot of stories. We see serials. We've been reading books, and there's a lot of stories in those books. So stories, as you all know, it kind of brings about various emotions in us, right? Some stories can give us pain because there's something which kind of is painful there, and we are living in that story, so we also feel that pain. It can bring us joy. Some stories are scary. It kind of frightens us. Some excite us a lot. Some we find interesting, some we find boring. Some stories put us to sleep. There are all kinds of stories in this world. Some stories actually, kind of shakes us up, jerks us, back to reality. But today, it is not about those stories which we hear or what we tell others. Today, my focus is going to be on stories that we tell ourselves. Yeah, because we tell ourselves a lot of stories. When we see this world, we are actually putting meaning to whatever we see, hear, feel. And we put this meaning by way of stories. Yeah. So if Rashmi is smiling at me, I'm observing that, and I'm making a story in my head that, oh, Rashmi is so interested in what I'm saying. Yeah, or Rashmi likes me, that's why she's smiling at me. Yeah. So this could be true, this may not be true, but it is my perspective. Yeah, it is my perspective. Rashmi may actually be smiling because she is reading something else on her screen. Yeah. but the story that I make in my head is that, no, she's smiling because she likes me, or she likes what I'm saying. Yeah? So we see this world by way of stories, and we're cooking up a lot of stories in our head, and that is what we're going to actually discuss today. But before we actually even start off, so this is something interesting. Your life is your story. In fact, this is from Suzanne, who says that your life is your story. So write well, edit often. Yeah. What it means is that you have complete control over the story of your life, and how you write it, how you edit it is completely up to you. And as Tony Robbins also says, some of you who follow Tony Robbins would have heard this. He says, change your story, change your life. Of course, a lot of people have said this, but what he uses the words is, divorce the story of limitation and marry the story of truth, and everything changes. Yeah. Because a lot of stories actually limit us from doing things. We have to break away from those stories. But the good thing is we can change the stories. We have the power to change the stories. And throughout this meeting, we will discuss a little bit about such stories. I even when introducing the role players, who will come one by one, I asked them, about some stories which has kind of impacted them in their life, and I will give examples of what they told me also. So this is very powerful. It says you are the story you tell yourself. So what you are is the story that you tell yourself. So are we feeding right stories into our head is very, very important. And if we are not, and if we realize that we are not, the good thing is, you have the power to change your story. It's like, they say time flies, but you are the pilot. Same way, the stories that you tell yourself, you have complete control over it. What mistakes do we make? What are some of the challenges in these stories that we tell ourselves? How can we rectify it? Are a few things that we will discuss as we move forward with the session. So right now, what we are going to do is we are going to the next slide is about some of the disempowering stories or unresourceful stories that we tell ourselves. But right now, I'm going to stop share screen. Let me stop share, and let's go back to the next item on our agenda, and that would be what is that? Let's move towards that. That is going to be our word master. But before that, we had two speakers who came in earlier. One is Rashmi and the other was Sagar. So Rashmi, of course, just to introduce Rashmi, who was a Sergeant at Arms, is a medical imaging professional. And the story that impacted her was a story from Stanford commencement address by Steve Jobs, in which he spoke about 3 stories. But the impact that it had on her was, and this is her words, hearing those stories was a big relief and reassurance for me to try out all the things that I loved. It was quite against the conventional thinking of being focused on one path. Through many of the interests seemed to be mutually exclusive. Later, I witnessed it falling into place, creating a beautiful life path. Hence, this speech holds a special place in my life. So some of the stories that we hear from people, and some of those people have some amazing stories which influence us a lot, which impacts us a lot. And as for President Sagar, who was, production planner, come F&B supervisor, he says he learned a lot from his college principals. So these are stories which really helps him. And there were many things that he learned from his college principal, and it's all in his mind and heart, and he follows those principles, those good things that he learned from the college principal. So with that, I am now going to invite our first role player, and we have various roles. So just for the benefit of guests, if you have seen the agenda, you would have seen there are different roles that role players do, because this program is all about learning and doing. So Toastmasters program is purely learning by doing. So I'm doing the role of an MC today, as we call it, Toastmaster of the Day. I learn, I improve by doing that role. Similarly, everyone who comes in after me will be doing certain roles. They've prepared for those roles. And as they do these roles is how we learn and we improve. Yeah. So the first person who's going to come in now is the word master, who will introduce a new word to us. She's a banking professional, and her name is Babita D'Souza. She's a relatively new member in our club, and when I asked her about a story that impacted her, she said, there is a story about a farmer who sold a pound of butter to a baker. I'm not going into the details of the story on account of time constraints, but what she learned in the moral of the story that she learned from, the story is, in life, you get what you give. Yeah. Do for others what you would like to be done to yourself. And that's a very powerful learning from that particular story which she speaks about. So with that, I would now like to request our word master of today to present the word for today. Let's all welcome with a big round of applause Toastmaster Babita.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You're audible, you're visible.
Okay. Thank you, TMOD. Glad to be part of the wonderful Toastmasters family. As someone rightly said, words are free. It's how you use them that really matters. If used in the right context, it can go miles in building relationships. But if inappropriately used, it can break the strongest relationship in minutes. So let me introduce to you the new word for the day. Here is your word, unimpeachable. Meaning is entirely trustworthy or not able to be doubted. The synonyms can be spotless, faultless, impeccable, unblemished. I would share some examples. Most of the voters saw the candidate as unimpeachable and completely trusted his every word. Second one, the unimpeachable athletes appeared to be both flawless and faultless. Her conduct in office was unimpeachable and her record is spotless. So, who would like to use this word? Voluntarily, anybody?
Can I?
Yes, please go ahead.
VP Menon's stories are always unimpeachable.
Wow, that's nice. Anybody else?
Hi, can I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So during my last trip to Georgia, I had unimpeachable experience with paragliding.
Yeah, really good. Any new guest or somebody? Anybody wants to volunteer?
Can I?
Oh, yes.
Okay. A good leader knows that a productive team are unimpeachable.
Yeah, that's really nice. Any guest? April? TM April? Okay, no worries. So guys, use it at as generously as you can, and I will be monitoring, and at the end of the meeting I will give you the count how many times this word has been used. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Babita. Let's give Babita a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Unimpeachable. Yeah, impeachable is a word we hear a lot, especially when it comes to the US politics. but unimpeachable, yeah, it's the reverse of it, and somebody who's trustworthy. So a nice word. Thank you very much. I don't think we use that often in our regular conversation, so it's something new to learn. And it's not just for this meeting, but even outside after this meeting, in our real life, when we communicate, we try to see how we can learn these new words and use it in our day-to-day communication. Thank you very much. We will now move on to one of the most important sessions in any Toastmasters meeting, which is the project speeches. So these are speeches, prepared speeches, where the members have prepared their speeches based on certain objectives. So for the benefit of guests, we have a proper structured program called the Pathways, and everybody goes through the same program. And these members have prepared speeches based on that Pathways program. So they are doing different projects depending on where they are in their journey with Toastmasters and the Pathways program. We have two speakers actually today doing their projects, and I would love to request the evaluator of project speaker number 1 to first read out the objectives, and then I can introduce the speaker.
Sure. So the purpose of this speech is the purpose of this project for the member to introduce him or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Wafa. And so our first speaker for today is a travel consultant. Yeah, and the story that the speaker speaks about is the story which many of us have heard. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? It's about two mice and two little people who lived in a maze and looked for cheese. The speaker says that the story teaches how to deal with life's changes, anticipate them, and even enjoy those changes. It helped me a lot to accept that changes happen and adapt to change very quickly. So let's all put our hands together to welcome our project speaker number 1, Toastmaster Misha. And the speech title is Spins of My Life, and mentor for the speech is Toastmaster Noura Al-Jassasi. Let's all welcome Toastmaster Misha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, for this introduction. And let's okay. There is an element in gymnastic, a flip. It's when you make spin in the air, and if you trained or lucky, you land on the feet. And if you are not, you just bump the ground. That's what my life does to me every time. I was born in Soviet Union, and everybody told me that it was unimpeachably the best country in the world, and which was struggling for peace worldwide. However, at school, we were taught how to use, how to shoot Kalashnikov and how to use gas masks. The USSR fell apart when I was 12, and I found out that it was not the best place in the world. If I had this childhood. Ukraine and Crimea, where I was lived, became an independent state in 1991. And and I spent there my school and the university time. And the next big thing that happened to me in 2003, I married my wife, and we moved to Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. The next 7 years, we were full of hard work, career development, a lot of travels. And finally, my wife and I got the jobs of our dreams in top international corporations. My wife did her job so well that one day she got 10 months assignment to Melbourne, Australia. And we had to have a remote family at that time. I visited her a couple times, and we spent an amazing holiday together. We did trip at the west coast, crocodile farms, the great coral reefs, surfers' paradise, and wild nature. After my wife came back home, 2 years later, she got another assignment to Switzerland. And remote relationship was very tough experience, so we went together. And I was lucky that my chief allowed me to work from Switzerland. Anyway, I was out of office most of the time because I was working as area sales manager in Olympus Corporation, and I was responsible of distributors camera business in 10 markets. And I had a really crazy number of travels, business and leisure at that time, around 300 flights every year. And I did surfing in Portugal, boarding in mobile in circle, and so much more. By the time we come back to Ukraine, life decided that I need more flips and surprises. And Ukrainians did revolution of dignity and banished corrupted President Yanukovych. And a few months later, Russia annexed Crimea and started war in eastern part of Ukraine. The next, so one day, the place where I was born changed its flag again, and it's now very hard to travel to Crimea and visit my family and my homeland. The next two big things that happened to me, I became a father of the most beautiful daughter in the world, and the most amazing, 2 years later, the most amazing son. That was unimpeachably the best that happened to me. And if you think flips in my life were over, I was in the camera and market due to smartphones. So I quit Olympus and I started my business online streaming of IT events and medical surgeries. And after 1 year, I worked with top European endoscopy events such as Endo Club North, Swiss, Endo Swiss, and Symposium. I had the vision and plan for the next 2 years, but one day my wife surprised me again. Now we moved to Dubai. We moved and settled. My daughter went to school, and I was managing my business remotely. And finally, I had very nice feeling that this time I landed on my feet in this life term. No, Misha, you are on, said COVID-19, and turned my life upside down again. Have you ever tried to teach 4 years girl to how to read and write in foreign language, combining online school and work? It's tough. I felt I have to stop my business and focus on my daughter's school. Having a break in work, I had time to think about my life and its turns and flips. And I realized two important things. To be ready for the changes, I need to be an expert in something valuable. And the only thing that never changed much was traveling. So if I cannot control my life flips, I could train my land on the feet abilities. So this is the plan for now. That's why I'm in Toastmasters Club to level up my communication skills in English. That's why I'm doing Krav Maga to upgrade my self-confidence. And that's why I got a new job as a travel consultant in franchisee of joint venture Denata and travel counselors. So today I help busy people to plan and book their and I help myself for any changes in my life. Nice to meet you, fellow Toastmasters, and thanks a lot for your help in my way to reinventing myself. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Let's give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Mikhailo, or as we call him, Misha, right? Is that the pet name, Misha?
Yeah, it's a short name because when I was born, parents called me Mikhail. When I became a citizen of Ukraine, passport says I am Mikhailo. My German colleagues called me Mike. So just the only name that I have all my life, it's Misha. It's like my family, my friends call me.
Thank God I can call you Misha. People prefer to call me VP because they are scared to actually call me by my full name.
Okay.
Anyway. Good. So, stories, again, travel brings about a lot of stories, and there's so much that we learn, from these travel stories. Very well done. Let's move on to before we move on to our second speaker, I think there's 30 seconds which we give you to give your feedback to our speaker, Toastmaster Misha. So all of you, including the guest who is here, can send him a feedback on private chat on Zoom in the chat box. You can actually, send it to him privately. And members who wish to send him, you can send him via WhatsApp also. So 30 seconds to give your feedback. It's very helpful when you give feedback. Tell him one or two things that you really like in the speech, and at least one area for improvement, suggestions where he could improve and become better. And of course, how that can be done. Even the guest can give you feedback. Timer, just show me when it is 30 seconds. Very nice. So thank you very much. We will now move on to our second project speaker in today's meeting. And before I introduce the speaker, I would like to have her evaluator read out the objectives.
Good evening, everyone. Toastmaster Nahid is attempting her level 1 first icebreaker speech from the leadership development pathway. The purpose of the project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. The time span is 4 to 6 minutes. All the best.
Thank you very much. And to introduce our second project speaker, she is an interior designer. She's also a pretty new member in the club. And when I asked her the same question about a story which impacted her, she said, one story which she's always heard from childhood is that money is not grown on trees. It's not easy to get money and we have to really work hard for it. And she always thought that I had to work very hard to be able to get more money. But recently she has changed that story in her head. And she says, in my mind, I changed it to, it's all in the mind. Change the definition and let it go. So you don't need to be burdened by certain stories that we have been hearing from childhood. We have the power to give a twist to that story, to make it more resourceful for us, more beneficial for us. So let's all put our hands together to welcome our speaker number 2, Toastmaster Nahid. Over to you, Nahid.
Who am I? Am I audible?
Nahid, one second. I forgot to mention her speech title. Her speech title is You Be You. You Be You. And her mentor for this project is somebody called VP Menon. Anyway, over to you, Nahid.
Who am I? Why am I here? What am I really doing? Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests. I'm Nahid. Unlike most of the women who doesn't like to share about their age, I'm not that sensitive. I'm 30 plus. I'm Iranian living in Dubai for more than 15 years. I studied, worked, and been a mom here in Dubai. My role model is my dad. He's a courageous, successful entrepreneur here in UAE. I like living in Dubai. Though most summers I changed my mind, I want to move to another place with a better climate. But as soon as October comes, I feel in love with Dubai and like to stay here. I was a workaholic, dedicated, and loyal employee, always thinking of serving others and improving in what I did. To be honest with you, I didn't have any other goals. My days, months, years were passed all same. Today's was exactly same as yesterday's. One day, I felt I'm like a robot, working without excitement, no goal. I was thinking, I don't have any goal, any excitement. That was the time I asked myself, who am I? Why am I here? What am I really doing? And it is these questions that changed my life forever. Though I was a great employee, I wasn't a good daughter, wife, and a mom. I was always busy, even during the weekends. Having no job, leaving my job, oh my God, that was a nightmare for me to stay at home. I was thinking I'm useless without a job. That was the time I defined myself with what I do. And Revolution Day was a day I left my job after 8 years working in the same company. I was thinking, I will miss my job, my office, the people who am I working with. But there was something inside me that had more strength that convinced me I'm gonna have a better life. So I trusted and left my job. Imagine what has happened. Instead of missing my office, I enjoyed my home better than before. Instead of overloaded with lots of work, I exercised, walking my dog. I was feeling so joyful and happy day by day. I was so grateful for this peace I had in my heart. Everything was great. I couldn't even imagine better than this one. Though I had an urge of doing something, I didn't know what and how. But I knew I want to help people to transform their life, to feel happy about themselves. The same way I was happy about my life. I just started the journey of getting to know myself, and I have the desire of changing the world. Therefore, I'm giving online consultation of making over homes with concept of feng shui and positive psychology into interior design, because I wanted people to feel happy and joyful and productive at their home. So what I have done then, I was thinking while I was working on my business, I thought there is a lot to work on myself. I wanted to be courageous. I wanted to be more confident. I wanted to trust my power completely. Therefore, I decided to join some challenges, which Toastmaster is one of them, to help me to unleash my true potential. Now, I decided to be the best version of myself before serving others and having intention of changing the world to be the better place. Because by changing myself, the world will be a better place. Currently, I'm continuing my journey of being the best version of myself. And I believe in you, be you, is the purpose of our life at all times. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naheed. Let's all give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Naheed. So I guess both the speakers were doing their very first project in the Toastmasters Club, right? So again, 30 seconds to give Naheed your feedback. Everybody, including guests, you may send a message to her privately on the Zoom chat. Feedback on what did you like about the speech and the speaker, and at least one or two tips to improve and how she can do that. I would also like to request everybody to make sure your mics are muted when somebody is speaking. Everybody else, the mics should be muted. Because otherwise, some kind of hissing sound and all comes up. Very nice. So both we had only 2 project speakers today, and both of them have spoken. We will now. I will now request our timer for today, our esteemed timer, who has a very important role to do, to tell us the timing, give us the timing report. But before that, let me introduce him. He's a marketing and operations executive with Alphatane, Honda. So if you need a discount when you buy Honda, you know whom to go to.
No discount.
Okay, he's made it very clear. So the story that has inspired him or has touched him is this autobiography of Dr. Abdul Kalam, APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the president of India and he was a very famous scientist. His story, gives Toastmasters, CV job, a lot of energy, and his quotes are really inspirational. So he gets inspired by quotes of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So let's welcome our timer for today, Toastmaster CB Job, with a big round of applause to give us the timing report on the project speeches. Over to you, CB.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters. Thank you for the introduction, sir. And first speaker, TM Misha, spoke 6 minutes 23 seconds. Second speaker, TM Nahid, spoke 5 minutes 15 seconds. Both are qualified.
Both are qualified. So, Divi, how are we going around with the voting?
I will launch the polls now.
Okay, so we'll have the polls coming up to elect or to select the best speaker. So this is only for the members of the club, yeah, only for Toastmaster members, only for Toastmasters, I mean, not non-Toastmasters. So you can cast your vote for the best speaker.
Okay, I have the polls coming in. You can continue.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So with that, I would like to say, I would like to speak a little bit more about my theme today. So as we were saying, the stories make a big impact in our life. So when we talk about stories that we tell ourselves in our head, we will, if you actually pay attention, you will find that many times we tell the wrong stories, which actually pulls us down instead of moving us forward. Yeah, which chains us actually, instead of giving us freedom or liberation. So we create stories about, limiting beliefs, about why we are not capable of doing things, why things are not happening in our life, about the things that are our weaknesses, instead of focusing on the strength, about the many problems that the world is throwing at us, for example, COVID. Yeah, and we pull ourselves down, we fall down. Yeah, and somebody called Dr. Dallas, he or she, I don't know whether it's a he or she, but Dr. Dallas says that your brain believes the stories that you tell it. And this is so true. Yeah, our brain actually believes all the stories that we tell. So are we putting the right stories into our head? And what are some of those, disempowering stories that we tell ourselves? I'll just share a slide for that. Let's look at some of the normal unresourceful stories that we normally tell ourselves. Yeah. So these are some of the stories that we generally tell ourselves, and this comes from my own life experience, which I've put it here. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. That's an amazing story you tell yourself. Even if you're getting something, you say, "Oh, I don't deserve it. They don't like me. I need to be perfect. My problems are the worst, are worse than anyone else's. It's too late. They don't understand. Things will never change. It's impossible." Are these making sense to you? Have you ever had stories like this being put into your head by yourself? Now, the problem is not about putting these stories into our head. The problem is, what do we do to rectify it? What do we do to make some changes in our head into these negative stories that we put ourselves into? And we will share some tips as we move forward about how we can make some changes. And so I'll share a couple of tips. Of course, there are many ways that you can improve on it, but I will share some of the stories from my life on how I made changes, and also a few tips on how it can be done. Anyway, so with that, we will now move on to the next part of the session, which was supposed to be the education session, but I think our speaker is just joining, so we will move on to the table topic session. DV, is that fine? DV is there?
Yes, DTM VP, that's fine.
Yeah, it's okay, right. So we will move on to a session which is one of the most interesting sessions, because this is all about impromptu speaking. So we'll have a member who will act as the table topic master, and who will come and give certain topics to the members, and they have to speak within a specified timeline between 1 to 2 minutes, which he will explain. And this role player who's going to come on board, he's also a relatively new member of Dubai Toastmasters Club. And he is an IT applications manager. And the story that impacted him is about a farmer, who owned a vast farmland, and where he was very depressed, and and some of you may have heard this story about how the children before dying, he said there is some treasure hidden in the farmland. So after he died, the children dug the entire farmland. There was no treasure. So they sowed wheat, and after selling the harvest, they actually became very rich. So that was the treasure. Yeah? So the wise words that he learned from the story and from his parents is no pain, no gain. And he truly lives by that message. So to help us with our table topic session, we have Toastmaster Mohammed Yamin Khan. So I would like all of you to put your hands together and help me welcome Toastmaster Mohammed to conduct the table topic session today. Over to you, Mohammed.
Thank you very much, DTM Menon. Good evening, Toastmasters of the day and fellow Toastmasters and the guests. Here, the purpose of the table topic master is to facilitate table topics where member and guests will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking skills. I, as the table topic master, will introduce topics and call on the speakers, who will be given 2 minutes to speak on a subject. The rules are will be there will be a timer. The timer will indicate green at 1 minute, amber at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes, and will remain red until the speaker finishes the speech. There will be a grace period of 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. You will not be qualified to enter the best table topic speaker poll if you speak less than 1 minute or more than 2 minutes 30 minutes. 2 minutes 30 seconds. So I would like to check if everyone is ready for that, and is there anyone who can come up and who want to be the first participant? Okay, let me share the topic. Since our topic today, our theme is story, let me start with a topic which has a story behind. Let me take someone from our group itself, Sagar Khurana. He went on a desert safari, and while driving, he found an Aladdin's magic lamp with a note written on that saying, "Only one wish can be granted." What do you think he might have asked for, and why? Can I call upon Minesh, Harshal, anyone? Minesh?
Hi.
Minesh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Minesh, we don't hear you. I think you are muted.
I'm here.
Yeah, you are audible, Minesh.
Okay, could you repeat that? I didn't quite catch it.
Okay, I was saying that Sagar Khurana went on a desert safari. He found Aladdin's magic lamp with a note, only one which can be granted. What do you think he might have asked for and why?
Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So as we have a conundrum here from our president who has found Aladdin's magic lamp, one thing, if you ask me, that what he would ask, I know he's very clever. So he's gonna ask for many more wishes. He's gonna ask for a wish that will give him infinite wishes. And with those infinite wishes, he can have anything he wants. When I actually heard of Aladdin's story, that's something I always thought about. Why didn't Aladdin just ask for more wishes? It's such a simple way of pretty much having anything you want in the world. Whenever you want money, you could ask for that. If you want food, you can ask for that. If you want to travel, you can ask for that. And you know, if you feel like it, if you want the pandemic to be over, you could, you know, even ask for that and solve all of world's problems. And as we've seen nowadays, the billionaires space race, you could even ask for a ride to space without spending $20 million. So that's what I think he would ask. Many more wishes. Back to you, David Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Minesh. Thank you. The second topic, which I have is, we have just completed our long weekend. We had the second long weekend of the year 2021. Here comes is like, definitely when we have long weekends, we have everyone has a story behind that, and some stories are memorable. Some stories are you cannot you will live on that stories for the next long weekend or next holiday. So my topic is like, there are always stories when you have long weekend. Share a memorable moment from your story. Can I ask Saleh on that one, or Kumar?
For me?
Yes, Saleh.
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, last week was we have a long holiday,
yes.
And it was we celebrated Eid al-Adha, and
yes.
The memory come for me from that holiday that we used to gather, all the family members used to gather together, and we used to have that. It's let's say it's a kind of festival that we bring the udhiyah, which we call it the cow or the sheep, and we do that as a celebration with that Eid. And during the day, we have to visit each family member. But unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we are celebrating Eid only through Zoom. And we cannot visit each other. That's this is a bad memory for this Eid and even the previous year. But we hope that next year we will have better Eid holiday and we can celebrate and enjoy this thing with all of our friends. But as we see on our group, we received all the greetings from all our group members, which was very beautiful. We used to celebrate that even in our Toastmaster meetings. It was a wonderful time. So I hope that next year we will gather together as a family or as members in Toastmaster, and we can celebrate Eid together. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Saleh. Thank you very much. So coming to next table topic is, it's a very like everyone lives on this topic. Like everyone has something on what I am going to share the topic. It's related to the decades. Like, okay, right now, if you see, we had a decade of 80s, we have decade of 90s and 2000s and 2010s. Which decade you love and why? since like we are going through all these decades and we see people like now we have a lot of comparison, and I think everyone 80s, 90s, 20s and 2000s and 20s are everyone here in this one. So can I ask someone from the guest or Nora to come up on this?
Hello, hi, yeah, you're saying?
Yes, yeah, hi.
The topic again?
The topic is 80s, 90s, 2000s and 2010s. Which decade you love and why?
Okay. Well, my favorite decade is the 80s. There's no surprise about that. I was born in the 80s, so I always carried that 80s glam with me as I grew up and into the 90s and 20s and 2010s and 2020. Oh God, I feel old. Yeah, but I always like that glam. It's something I always looked up at pictures of my mother and father as a kid, and I always saw them like fabulous adults living the 80s dream. And it can be ranging between like those old Mercedes cars and their Sona tracking suits and Jane Fonda videos. Yeah, we used to do them as a kid too. So I love the big hair. The big hair, I still carry it till now. I'm a big fan of the big hair. So I think I'll always be an 80s child in me because I'll always have that big hair. You know, I love it. No shame, you know, it's just like with big curly hair just right there and just beautiful. And yeah, the big earrings, yes, that's fabulous. We have to appreciate that too. The puff shoulders, you know, they came back. See, we appreciate that. You know, so you know, it has a nice feel to it. You know, it was an age of discovery, an age of, you know, cassettes and music and retro. So I think it was a fabulous era to be in the 80s, definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nora. And definitely no one will prefer going into 2020s, from when we came into the Corona crisis, the Corona pandemic.
Like when I sat at home and wore PJs the whole day. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Sibut, can I ask you, like, do I have time to go with the next topic?
Yeah, you can do one more.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, VP Menon. The next topic, it is it better to be an only child or to be part of a large family? I would like to invite a guest to speak on this one. Is there anyone who can step up, or can I name someone? Maureen, I can see him. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes. Hi. You are not. I think you are on mute. We don't hear you. You are not audible. No.
I think there's something wrong with her audio. She's not on mute, but it's a different.
Yeah, a lot of noises are coming from her.
Yeah. Maureen, if you can't get through, then I think let's go to another guest if she's having technical issues. Yeah, man.
Okay. Can you help me with that, Devi?
Maybe Ati, would you like to go ahead?
Well, I can go ahead. I've been growing as the only son for a family, so I experienced that for 9 years. So it's something
Ati,
not
again,
new
you
to
are on mute. I think we heard you starting, and then
I think the mic isn't. Is it okay now?
Yeah,
no.
we can hear you.
Oh, okay, all right. I was saying that I experienced that already for 9 years, so it's something that's not new to me to be the only son for the family. So you feel special, you feel a lot of care. Everyone is putting attention on you, but at the same time, they have a lot of expectation. The moment you get another member in the family, you start feeling a jealousy. I don't know what that feelings are now. I cannot recall them, but I see that attention, it will start fade out. And you will be looking to yourself, doing lots of reflections. The ego will appear. And I think there will be lots of dramatic gaming happening with other members, not being the only one in the family. But if you grow just as a single member of a family, it's sort of speciality, but I think it is not normal. It creates you as personal, I would say self-centric person. It's not making you more sympathized or empathized with others. You don't have that social intelligence, I would say. So it's more lovely to be with other, in my opinion, to be more with other family members, with other peers, with similar gender, also brothers, or if a woman, sisters. That gives a new dimension, a new different ways to see the others, how they look like, how they think. This is my reflections and my opinion about it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ati. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I think we are that's the only thing. Do we have another topic? Can I take or no?
No, we are out of time, Mohammed. Sorry about that.
Oh no problem. Thank you very much, my fellow Toastmasters and the guests for taking this. And I will request the timer to share the details. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed. Let's all give Mohammed a big round of applause. Impromptu speaking is very, very important, and that's what we practice in this particular session, how to improve our impromptu speaking skills. Yeah, how important impromptu speaking is, the married people will definitely know, but for the unmarried, better learn it well before you get married. Can we have CB give us the timer's report on the speakers?
TM Minesh spoke 1 minute 17 seconds. TM Saleh spoke 1 minute 38 seconds. TM Nora spoke 1 minute 51 seconds. TM Ati 2 minutes 4 seconds. All are qualified.
All are qualified, yeah. So can we launch the polling?
Yes.
The best. So we will have a voting for the best speaker out of the 4. And in this particular segment, everybody can vote, including the guest.
Okay, I'm launching the polls now.
Yeah, you can cast your vote for the best speaker. I mean, whoever you like as the best.
Okay, I'm getting the results. We can continue with the session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So a very different segment which we have now in this meeting today is one of the education sessions called Moments of Truth. Now, Moments of Truth happens to be one of the most important educational sessions within the program. It is very important for each and every Toastmasters club to conduct this Moments of Truth, to make sure that the club is going in the right track and is doing everything that is required to be done for the benefit of the club and the members. So today we have somebody very interesting to conduct this education session for us. I have known him for quite some time, well, he just now sent me a bit about the story that he wants to speak about. So he's a professional trainer. He's been a banker and now he's into professional training. His name is Toastmaster Hariharan, or Distinguished Toastmaster Hariharan, DTM Hariharan. And the story is about that woodcutter. Again, a story which many of us have heard about the woodcutter who lived with his wife and, loses the axe. And then, God comes and shows him 3 different axes, gold, silver, bronze, and tell him, okay, which is yours, you pick it. And he picks his own axe, actually. He doesn't pick any of these. And then God gives him all the 3. So later, his neighbor listens to this story and purposely, loses his axe. And when God shows the 3 and he takes one of those, he takes the golden axe, and then God punishes him and all that. So the moral of the story that he has learned from this is never to be greedy and do not take what does not belong to us. A very powerful lesson from this. So let's welcome our guest speaker today to conduct this particular educational session on Moments of Truth. Warm welcome from all of us to Distinguished Toastmaster Hariharan.
Thank you so much, DTM VP Menon. In fact, you've always been one of my oldest friends since I joined Toastmasters, because I've seen you from the very first times when you were giving your speeches way back in the Emirate Atrium. Anyways, great. So let's go back to what's the moment of truth. Now, moments of truth, just now I was driving with my mother and I had a moment of truth when I realized that I'm going to be late for this meeting. That's a moment of truth when you come across something that's an aha moment. So something that hits you and you realize that, yes, that is something that you did know before, did not know at all. So this book by name, Good to Great, in fact, it's one of my favorite books, and it's written by Jim Collins. And the first chapter says, good is the enemy of great. Now, why is good the enemy of great? We will look at that in some time. Now, the moments of truth will tell us exactly where we are good and tell us where is it that we can get great, where we can achieve that greatness. Now, the moments of truth in Toastmasters is measured on 5 factors. The first factor being the first impression. So when somebody comes to the club for the first time, what is it that they get to understand? The second is membership orientation. So somebody becomes a member, how are they inducted into the club? The third is fellowship, variety, and communication. How is the person taken through the journey of education, and how the personal goals of the person are actually aligned with the club's goals, and how does a person aspire for more? The fourth is program planning and meeting organization. So how well is a meeting organized? Are the role players in place? Is the agenda circulated on time? Is the meeting too boring, or it's too heavy for people to take, or is it too light that people start to take it too lightly? In fact, then ultimately is membership strength, and last not the least is achievement and recognition. Now, these are the 6 factors under which are the 6 pillars of the moments of truth. Now, what we would do is DTC it's as I was telling VP Menon and DV yesterday, this is the club that is the epitome of good practices. So a lot of practices that happen in Toastmasters is taken out from this particular club. And must I say, uncontaminated and undiluted, still concentrated is most of the practices. So keeping all these in mind, what DV is going to do now is she's going to throw out a poll. So all of you are going to take a poll on these 6 parameters, and we're going to have some results coming in. Once the results are coming in, we have got leaders assigned for each of these results. Then DV would run her magic fingers and assign you into various rooms. So we all break out and go into 6 rooms where you'll find your leader there. We're going to be getting in there in about 10 minutes. We're going to discuss how we can possibly get great from if we are good on any factor. And if we are not doing too well, how can we at least come to the good, if not great? When we come out of the breakout rooms, come into the main room, and each of the leaders is going to present their findings and what they feel the club can do next time or in the next term better. And the ExCom can pick up from there and drive, or possibly, must I say, steer the ship in that direction, because that is your moment of truth. If I have your permission, then DV, we can start.
Sure. Sure, DTM Hari. I have just launched the polls. The polls have been launched. Kindly start voting. Kindly start giving your answers.
It's only for members, right, Devi?
Yes, this is only for members. Yes.
1 is the best or 5 is the best?
1 is poor, 5 is the best.
And how do we choose that?
There are options. You click on it. You will not be able to see that DTM VP because you are a co-host.
Okay.
You will be seeing the results only.
Okay.
So once again, 1 being poor and 5 being the best.
If any member has any confusion, can ask us if any assistance required from us.
Done, DV? Are we done with it?
We have 50% of responses. I'm waiting for some more responses to come.
Come on. Come on, Toastmasters. It's just the Monday evening. VP sir, what is it that you have done that you got them into so much of thought?
No, it's your talk because you made them think. So
this
this
is
a lot of time thinking now. Your stories have made them think.
Oh, come on. I still believe in the woodcutter.
They want to be as impeachable as possible.
Oh my goodness.
That was the word of the day, Hari. You missed it.
Oh yeah.
Is it only for the members of that club or other club members can also?
It's for the members of our Dubai Toastmasters club.
Okay.
Because only they would know what's happening in the club regularly.
Yeah.
So Devi, put us in another breakout room. We'll have another chat.
We will be going into a breakout room now in a few seconds.
Okay, I think we are good to go, DTM VP.
Okay, Hari. Hari, please come back.
I'm here.
Okay.
All right, great.
So are the breakout, is it ready?
Yes. Devi will run her magic fingers.
Okay.
To help me do that, Rashmi is handling the breakout rooms while I handle the polling.
Okay.
So Rashmi can start assigning the breakout rooms. DTM Hari, should I share the results now or?
Yeah, you can share it with in fact, you can share it with the team leaders or the captains who are steering the vessel.
Okay.
Shall I open the breakout rooms now?
Yeah.
Yes, please. We are dying to go into that room.
dying to go into that room. VP sir, VP is gone.
Yeah, so the breakout is in progress now. One by one, they are moving to the breakout rooms now.
God, they're moving very quickly.
Mm. I think, yeah, all of them except the guests are now in the breakout room. And since I'm the host, Divi, can I join one of the breakout rooms now?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, I'll also.
You can join anyone and come back to the main room whenever you have to. And you can go, you can keep shifting between rooms as well.
Okay. All
You
right.
have that unique privilege.
Oh, Oba is still here, Rashmi. Can you put Oba in a group?
Oba. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second.
Okay, let me send the responses as well to everybody.
Yeah, I have assigned Oba. Are you able to see the breakout
Yeah,
room?
Oba's gone.
Is there
Divi,
any-
I hope we are doing fine on time. I hope I didn't take too much time. You're muted, my dear friend. Kite go?
So, so far, a little bit lag is there, but I think we should be okay.
Divi, could you please check if the rest of the list, I'm guessing it's all our guests.
Yes, yeah, I saw that.
Banani, I know.
Yes, I also know you, DTM Hariharan.
So Divi, I have about 8 minutes. I'll quickly make my one phone call, which I cut in the middle.
Actually, the purpose of coming to this meeting was mainly to see how these moments of truth go on, because DTM Hari is also associated with my club, and there was another friend who was also interested in coming. So I don't know, maybe she couldn't make her time.
Thanks, Dee. Thanks for the results.
Toastmaster Banani, after they come back from the breakout rooms, there will be further discussion on this. DTM Hari will take a discussion. So you
if there is any other program, maybe I can leave. Or if there is any discussion related to this moments of truth, I can carry on.
Yeah, there would be a discussion. After they come, each of the leaders is going to discuss what they discussed in the breakout rooms with their members. So there'll be a discussion. You can look at that.
Thank you.
So guest, Fiz, Patricia, Maureen, Harshal, Mazaffa, Bob, how are you all enjoying the session?
Yes, the stories are
Hi.
brilliant.
Yes, it is quite nice. I mean, it's my first time in Dubai, so I've had a session once in Canada, but it was quite some time ago.
Are you based in Dubai, Patricia?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you are.
But I attended Toastmasters in Toronto, so I've had a different experience. It was quite some time ago, as a guest as well.
Good to hear that.
Yes, it's been a very wonderful experience. Thank you.
Good to hear that.
Hi, I have joined from India. It's really going great.
And whenever VP is conducting meeting, I always look forward because there is so much to learn from him. It's just amazing.
That's
And like his, true. And his, words and the content is really resourceful for all the newcomers, even for the seasoned Toastmasters.
You are a Toastmaster, Harshal?
Yes, I was. Like a couple of years back, I was there with Dubai Toastmasters Club.
Ah, nice. So you know all of them, and you're come the right day because we have a good mix of DTM VP. Then you'll see DTM Ramesh doing the G, and of course DTM Hari taking over the session. So it's a very good.
Yes.
And we have all the
Exactly.
newcomers who are doing so many first-time role players, and they are amazing at it.
True. And this moment of truth is new, and which is really, great.
Okay. So now you are in any club, Harshal, or not?
Not yet. Actually, I was supposed to join club, which is here in Nasik, in Maharashtra.
Okay.
But then after lockdown, we have not joined any club. So we are
Okay.
just enjoying the clubs, trying to be online as much as possible.
You can come back to DTC because it's still online till the time it is online.
Yeah, exactly. True.
So we have Nora, who's our VP membership. You can get in touch with her, possibly if you want to
Okay.
join her.
Great. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Anytime. We have another 4 minutes to go. Then everybody is going to come into the room. So you all can take a small break, probably stretch yourselves.
Yeah, I think we need to. Thanks.
Okay, we have everybody coming back now. Okay, DTM Hari, I think we have everybody out here.
Okay, thank you so much, DV. So now we have the team and the team leaders all in this room, and I hope you all had, must I say, a pretty decent brainstorming session within that room. So to understand what were the areas that we can do better and what are those. So ideally what we can do is we can look at three things. What is it that we need to start doing from the next meeting onwards so that we'll have a better club? What should we stop doing that possibly is pulling our club down? And third, what is it that we continue doing that's keeping us at that level that we are? Leaders, over to you. Who would like to go first? So let's go with the first impression of the club. So the leader from the first impressions can start. I leave it to you. And DV, you'll have to, who's the timer for the day?
How many minutes for each team leader? 1 minute?
1 minute.
Okay. A timer,
1 minute
please.
and 10 seconds grace. So we'll cut it exactly at 1 minute and 10.
Okay.
So at 1 minute, you can show a red, and at 10, just mute the speaker. That's it.
CB, over to you.
Good evening. Let me begin. For the first impression, me and my team have discussed and come up with something we should start doing is, currently, to improve the first impression, we need to listen to the guest more than what we speak. We do not want to overload guests with the information that we are sharing. This is something that can be discussed over a call or over a Zoom session after the meeting to brief them about the whole concept of Dubai, the Toastmasters. So something that we can look into revising or reviewing is to improvise our presentation that we present at the presidential speech. So this is something can be crisp and concise so that people are not burdened with so much of information that where is area, where is division, where is international, and who is the past president, who's a former next president or area president. And that is something we need to improvise on. That's what we have agreed on. And that's it. So this can really take us from good to great. Thank you.
And now let's go into the membership orientation. Sorry, I was actually muted.
Okay, so yeah, we had an overview of an idea, thinking that the formal inductions were not very visible, but like we're having one very soon. So a lot of the new members are going to be there. But it got ranked like 2 to 3. Assignment of mentors, it got a 4. Like some people have mentors, but sometimes they do not deal with them or do not interact with them as much. And that goes also to educational and recognition systems discussed. Sometimes it's not clear who says it, if it's the guest, if it's from the club or from the mentor, but it's got a number 4 so far. Learning needs assessed. Also with that, it needs a bit more work, but it got a number 5. Speaking roles assigned was very strong. They do feel that they are active members involved in the club activities, so that was quite high too. So basically it.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Noora. I appreciate it. Okay, now let's go into the third, which is fellowship, variety, and communication.
Yeah, hi. So we had 4 people in our room, and most of us felt that we are doing pretty well with regards to fellowship, variety, and communication. For example, members greet guests and make them feel welcome. In an online meeting, I mean, it's a bit challenging to actually meet guests, but still we do interact with them and do stuff. But there was a suggestion from one of the members that when we do physical meetings, sometimes Dubai Toastmasters Club has many guests. And it's a bit of a challenge for just the XCOM to interact with the guests. So we can have probably multiple greet masters. So when we go back to our physical meetings, probably have more greet masters so that we can, take care of the guests better. VP Education regularly plans meetings, educational programs which are exciting, thought-provoking. It is being done. One of the suggestions was to include more stuff which we don't regularly do. For example, debate sessions we don't regularly do. Maybe we can add that and think of different things that can be added, to make the programs more exciting. Social events, of course, we have our family events and stuff that happens, but at the same time, encourage members to participate in area, district, and international events. That's a bit of a challenge. We need to work with people to kind of have more participation in those areas. There was also a suggestion to have more educational sessions in the program. So other than that, we were pretty okay with everything. These were some of the additional suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DTM VP. Thank you so much. Let's go into the next one, which is program planning and meeting organization.
Okay, thank you. Overall, very positive feedback about how we planned meetings and how we organize everything. Especially very appreciative of the fact that members are encouraged to do their speeches. So what we would like to continue is this kind of a planning, especially planning 3 months ahead, getting people to be ready with the projects. That should continue. That is something very positive that should continue. The areas which can be better, meetings starting and ending on time. I think that is quite often doesn't happen. I don't think even today's meeting we are going to be going on time. And because of that, the recommendation is, especially on table topics, we should at least have 5 speakers, at least 3 members and 2 guests. And normally, because the meetings run behind schedule, this is one segment which gets squeezed. Including today, we had only 4 speakers. So that is one area which I think we can do better. But overall, very positive about the way the planning happens and organized and agendas ahead. Overall good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, DTM Ramesh and Raman. Let's now go into membership strength. If I may please call upon Sagar. Toastmaster Sagar, over to you.
Thank you, DTM Hariharan. We also have a very good positive approach as I have 4 members in my breakout room. So starting from the strength, we have a very good strength of 59 members. And in terms of retaining the members, we have 27 new members who recently joined throughout this year. So in terms of that, I got a very positive report from everyone. The only areas of improvement are when we are, the guests are coming. So if we are taking follow-ups or not. So members are confused. Yes, we are taking the follow-ups from them. They are just wanted to know, like every meeting we have almost 10 to 12 guests in a meeting. So how many members, how many guests are becoming members and how many are not? And if they're not becoming, so what are the reasons? So as an XCOM, yeah, we are working every time we are following with a guest. And yes, we can improve in that area, the way we are treating with the guest after the meetings. So yes, of course, we can work on it. And rest, I think all are very impressed about the membership strength. and the way we are recognizing our members in every meeting through our different platforms. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now let's go into the last segment, which is achievement and recognition. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hariharan. So we have the unanimous agreement that Dubai Toastmasters Club is one of the best clubs that people have ever attended. When it comes to the recognition, everyone is recognized here, whether it is the completion of the project, whether it is the completion of the path, receiving any certificate, and not only for the members, but even for the guests. So this is something we should continue to do, which is the backbone of our club. Everyone feels recognized here. And not only it is related to the projects and other things, but even when somebody is participating as a role player, that is also recognized in the forums. So this is good thing going on, and we should continue with that. Few suggestions that have came in is, one, people feel that the mentors who are guiding us how to prepare the speeches, how to deliver the speeches, where to improve, where not to improve, those mentors are not recognized well enough. So they are playing very important part where they are spending too much of time out of their busy schedule, but they don't get the proper recognition. So that's one thing. And second, if we can have some of the trainings from the seniors for the people, that will really help all the people. Thank you very much. Over to you, Team Hariharan.
Thank you very much. In fact, I quickly took notes on areas that we could do better to become a greater club. So let me rush through it, and then that's where the XCOM can take it from. So I listen to the guests more, try and make the presidential speech crisp, KISS. Mentor assignments is another one. Induction to be conducted more often. Greet masters in case we go in face-to-face meetings, multiple greet masters. Let's have other concepts like debates as education sessions. We should not squeeze down on the table topics. Try and keep it as long, and try and ensure that you have better timings. Ensure you find out why guests are not signing up as members. Mentors need to be recognized, and last not the least, we need to have more training for role players and other roles that they need to take. So that's a little bit on the areas that we need to look at. In fact, this recording is there with the club. So I suggest that DV, you share this recording with the XCOM. They can pick up the stuff that is there as areas of improvement and areas of strength. And I'm sure this club will only go from good to great. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM VP Menon. I hope I've done my job judiciously. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster DTM Hari. A big round of applause to distinguished Toastmaster Hariharan for coming in to do this session for us. It's always good to do the moments of truth at least once or twice in a year, so that we understand what we are doing right, and we also understand what are the areas we can improve and get better. Very good. So I coming back to our theme of the day, I will just spend a few minutes speaking about it. So, you know, some of the now let me talk about some of the stories that I used to tell wrongly in my head and how I changed it, you know. So for example, one of the story I used to tell in my head is that failure is bad. You shouldn't fail. But I over certain experiences that happened with me in my life, I realized and I changed in my head that failure is not bad actually. Failure is good. Because a lot of what I am today is thanks to the learnings from my failures. Yeah, so if you ask me what percentage of learnings came from failures and what percentage from the various success stories that I have, well, I would say 95% came from failures and only 5% came from my successes. So that's how powerful failure is. So I changed that in my head, that failing is not bad, failing is good actually. The second one was, you know, and this was something which I had when I was small. Most of you who have seen me knows that I'm not a very tall guy. And I used to always have this inferiority complex in me that, you know, I will never be as good as others because I'm short. I'm just around 5 feet. Now that's something which I've turned completely 360 degrees on its head, because I'm very happy with what I have done with my life and with the height I have, and it's not in my control. Yeah, it's hereditary, it's genes, it's a lot of other things. so you know, this is a story, and I used to focus more on that, oh, I'm not very tall. But that's okay. Then when I changed the story, I started focusing on the resources that I have, my capabilities, and what all I can do. And that changed, that made a big change in my life, actually. And the third example, I would say, which happens recently, not recently in this COVID period, is I see a lot of my friends, posting motivational posts on Facebook. Now, many of them, I know them so well. I know they don't exactly follow what they preach, practice what they preach. So I used to feel, what the hell? I know this guy, he doesn't practice this, but he is telling the world to practice this. But then I changed that story in my head. I changed the story to, why should I focus on whether somebody is doing something or not? Let me focus on the message that they're throwing at us. So take the learning, take the message, and make good use of it. I mean, whether they do it, they implement it themselves, that's their problem. Let's not get into that. Don't judge them. Yeah, so that's a small twist I made in my head, and that really helped me. So these are just some examples of how I have changed the stories in my head to make myself more resourceful, to make it more positive for myself. Yeah, and it's very easy to do. And once you do it, you will find that magic happens. Once you change the narrative in your head, once you change the story line, magic happens. Yeah. So with that, let me now move on to the next part of our meeting, which is going to be the evaluation sessions. Yeah. Evaluation sessions are very, very important because this is where we had 2 project speakers and 2 evaluators would come and give feedback, their own personal feedback on what the speaker did right and what are some of the areas for improvement. So to evaluate our first speaker today, we have Dr. Wafa as the first evaluator. She's head of research and service section at the Dubai Health Authority and an assistant professor at Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Sciences. Yeah, and she talks about a story from her from one of her travels. Yeah, she met a lady who was 97 years old, and she was a nurse practitioner during the Second World War and the Holocaust. She spoke 6 languages, English, Spanish, French, Italian, and 2 German dialects. And Dr. Wafa was really inspired by her story. When she said, life is full with surprises, always be ready. So Dr. Wafa says that ever since I met her, I keep thinking, what do I want to accomplish in my life if I lived until the age of 97 years? And you will surely, Dr. Wafa. And how can I be ready, and how can I have a life worth living? So that's great take home from that. So let's welcome our evaluator number 1, Dr. Wafa, to give the evaluation on speaker number 1. Over to you, Dr. Wafa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, TM VP Menon. Good evening, everyone, and especially good evening to my speaker, TM Misha. So first of all, I would like to tell you congratulations for finishing your first speech. Congratulations and breaking the ice. I totally understand your feeling because I was in your shoes one day that it was maybe challenging to start the first step, with a Toastmaster. But believe me, I'll not promise you that it will be less challenging, but as long as you started the first step, then I think you're in the right path. I think you have done a wonderful job and you have fulfilled the purpose of your speech by introducing yourself and by, being comfortable with at least starting with public speaking and Toastmaster. The title, let me start with the title of your speech, The Spins of Your Life. That really attracted me, and I was wondering, what does he mean by the spins of his life? And I think it's really relevant to all of us because all of us have spins of our life. So I think you fulfilled the purpose of your speech. You introduced yourself to us, to the club, by starting with when you were born, your childhood, your school, and then your marriage, and you moved in the different areas in the world, and you talked about your personal life and your wife as well and your children, and we saw a wonderful picture about the places that you traveled. And so in general, like you introduced yourself to us, you fulfilled the purpose of your speech. The second part that I would like to give you feedback, it's about, your verbal and non-verbal communication while you're giving your speech. In general, you had a good language, a clarity, although there was some little bit break or internet disconnection. So maybe something to be aware about of the internet next time in the future. You had a good speed, like when you were speaking, when you were delivering your speech, you had a good volume in general. Maybe you can make in the future, think about having more of modulation, voice modulation, up and down a little bit. In general, you had a good eye contact, you were looking at the camera when you were delivering your speech. So overall, I think you've done a wonderful job. In general, I think you excelled really when you shared the different pictures when you traveled around the world, because that really helped us to be engaged with you during your speech. Even if, sometimes there was a breakage, in the internet, but we could follow your speech with the pictures that you posted, especially the first picture was very powerful about the gymnastic. Things that I will encourage you to consider maybe in the future, to talk about some challenges that you faced, for example, because your life to me seems very impeccable. To me, it was perfect. So what are the challenges that you came across during your life and you overcame those challenges? Overall, I think you've done a wonderful job. Congratulations again for finishing your first speech, and we look forward to hearing you in the future. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Wafa. We will quickly move on to the second evaluator. He is an asset management professional. His name is Toastmaster Avdhut Shede. And he says he was always inspired by a story told by one of his well-wishers that others' success is not your failure, and vice versa. So this thought till date gives him a realization when he starts comparing himself with others. That's it's our own journey. Yeah, even if you're not where you need to be, but you're not where you once used to be. So you are moving forward. So in short, it's not a good thing to compare yourself with others. Every person has his own journey. A very, very powerful thought there. Let's welcome with a big round of applause our evaluator number 2, Toastmaster Avdhut.
Thank you, TM Modi, for a warm welcome. And congratulations, TM Nahid. The performance was a live bar. Extremely impressive and very well done. Very energetic. You did a wonderful job. Generally, people do not like questions, but it's completely opposite in the public speaking. And that's what precisely you did by opening your speech with a question. Who am I? What am I doing here? So that shows, that is really a sign of a powerful and a matured speaker. I never felt it is your first ever speech in the public speaking platform. So very well done. Coming to the body of your speech, you took us on to your life journey. You introduced your family, how father being your role model, and how you spent your stressful work. Work days were really so stressful. And while all of this, you were using such a powerful emotions. You're putting it all this with such a great emotions that I could really picturize myself, you sitting on a workstation with a very stressful work or a very long day. So it was really with the powerful emotions that you have used, and really the body language that you have used has really complemented your entire journey about how your life from being a employee to a self-made woman. Now, coming to the closure of your speech, you have connected your title with the theme of your speech. So it was really wonderful. It is supposed to be done this way so that you do not lose the connect of your title of your speech. Some of the areas that I feel that you can improve on is, although your vocal variety was good, but sometimes I felt there was a lack of clarity in your words because you went too low while expressing your emotions. So you might want to work on making sure that your voice is clearly audible to evaluators and to the audience, so that your message is properly heard. And second area of improvement could be a time management, because you have a time span of 6 minutes and 30 seconds, but you use only 5 minutes and 15 seconds. You could have used that 1 minute and 15 seconds to enhance your story, to take entire audience through your journey a little bit in depth, which could have really added a value to your speech. But all in all, your speech was really energetic, really thought-provoking, and really powerful. Wonderfully done, and we wish to see you again onto the public speaking platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Avdhut. A big round of applause to both our evaluators, and I will now quickly ask CB to give us the timers report.
TM Wafa spoke 3 minutes 8 seconds. TM Avdhut 3 minutes 17 seconds. What the call friend?
Okay, so we will quickly have
I will launch the polls
for and again this portion, this segment, only the Toastmasters can vote. Unfortunately, not the guest. So you can vote for the best evaluator for today.
I'm getting the results. We can continue.
Very nice. So I did speak about some of the changes that I made, and there are so many. I just give you examples of random 3, but I will also give you 3 tips on what I use, and it has worked very well for me. So these are some of the things that I do, and let me share the screen again once again. The first thing is, a lot of these challenges that we get, wrong stories that we get in our head, is because of assumptions. We assume a lot of things. Yeah. So challenging our assumptions becomes very important, because a lot of these negative stories that we get in our head is only because we assume things without checking the facts. So challenge those emotions, check the facts, and then you will realize that it's very easy to rewrite the script, rewrite the story, or change the story to a more empowering story. Yeah. The second one is reframing. Yeah. So you can always reframe the situation. So for example, today morning I was in the bank, and that teller or that customer service person I felt was rude to me. And the negative thing that came into my mind is, oh, I'm a customer, but he's being rude to me. But I changed it. I changed that story, that maybe he's going through some challenge. Maybe his boss has fired him for something, or maybe he's under pressure, or maybe there was a customer before me who actually, misbehaved with him. So I just gave him that. And actually, to be honest, I just asked him, are you okay? Is everything fine? And then he started speaking to me. And then we went on very well, and he did my work very well, and all those things. So it's all about reframing. So, for example, somebody cuts you when you're driving and you feel angry. You can actually reframe it in your head that maybe he's rushing towards some very important appointment, or maybe there's something wrong in his life because of which he has to drive fast and get somewhere fast. When we reframe things, it becomes easy for us. It becomes more positive for us, more resourceful for us, yeah, more empowering for us. And the last tip is, don't let anyone else hold the pen when you write your own life stories. Be in control of what's happening in your life. Yeah, that's the easiest way to write the script the way you want it to be. Yeah, and that's very important. These are some tips. I can share a lot more, but we don't have time, so I will just stop here with those 3 tips. And what we will now do is we will move to the next segment, which is the the R counters report. And to give us the R counter report, which is basically about how many arms and all, and I'm going to be there on the top, I'm sure about that. To give us this report, we have again a relatively new member. He's an IT infrastructure manager in the banking sector, and he talks about he talks about, sorry, I'm just trying to read his story. So he talks about a friend of his who was, in Dubai, and how he was influenced by this friend. And he says that he's gone from me, but I'll always remember him in my heart until I'm on earth, because there's so much of good learnings and there's so much of nice learnings attached to the stories about this friend of his whom we met in Dubai. So let's welcome our counter for today, Toastmaster Gangaya, with a big round of applause to give his counter report.
Thanks, Mr. VP Menon. Greetings to all participants, Toastmaster and guest. My role is new for this Toastmaster Club. My role is counter, which is I noticed that 3 or 4 members. I counted that speaker 1, Mr. Misha. He used to sound and is almost 4 times. Sound is more than 10 times. Then speaker 2, Nihad, she used the word so more than 3 or 4 times, as well as she repeated the word called who I am almost 3 or 4 times. She used that. And then evaluator Wafa, she also used that a sound called am almost 4 times. Then as well as she used but word 3 or 4 times. Then the final table topics role, Mr. Yamin, he used a sound almost more than 15 times on his speech. This is overall I have noticed, as well as Mr. President also used so more than 5 times. Then Toastmaster of the day, Mr. VP Menon, he used many times a sound. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gangaya. Please give him a big round of applause. These are all our new members who are taking on roles very actively. Very well done. And now we will have the Wordmaster's report from Toastmaster Babita on how many times the word of the day was used in the meeting. Can we have a quick report from Toastmaster Babita?
Yeah, thanks, TM.
Let's put our hands together to welcome Toastmaster Babita once again.
Thank you, everyone. Wow, what an impeccable session. Unimpeachable session. I myself forgot the word. Okay. Overall, the number of times the word was used was 7 times, including myself using it.
Very good, very good. Well done, well done. But it doesn't end here. Like I said, it's just a learning, and then we go back and use it in our day-to-day lives, wherever the context, in whichever context it can be used. We will now have our next report, which is the Grammarians Report. So we have somebody who's been watching our language and will tell us how we did, what we did good with the language, and what are some of the things that we can improve when it comes to the usage of language. So our grammarian today, Toastmaster Oba, is an IT professional, and Toastmaster Oba believes in women's equality. Yeah, and he gives a good example of a boy has 30 days while a girl has 27 days. So basically he talks about how women needs to be empowered. Yeah, and he feels that a woman is actually more powerful than a man. Yeah, and is more emotionally intelligent. So Toastmaster Oba, let's have the Grammarian Report from you. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Oba for the Grammarians Report.
Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and our fellow guests today. My role today is to tell a story about some of the good grammars that were used, and some that we could actually improve upon. So I want the role today to look more like a story instead of being like a mobile police that wants to catch his bad phrases. So let's focus more on some of the not so good words that we need to pay attention to, and we can improve much better in the future. So one of the phrases that was used by someone was, "You take help from everyone around you." And I think this is quite common, that do use a lot. So instead of that, the person could have said it was helped by everyone around him. Another phrase that was used was people requesting him. Instead, we could have the person could have said people asked him. Another phrase that was used, which could be kind of cautious of in the future, is he has gave me the opportunity. It's much easier to just say, he gave me the opportunity. Another phrase that was used was, anyone wants to introduce as a question. Instead, we could have, the person could have said, is there anyone that would like to be introduced? And I think another phrase that was used, was where I was lived. Instead, the person could have said, where I lived. Another phrase that was used was, I was responsible. Instead, the person could have said, I was responsible. And I think the last phrase that was used was, we don't hear you. Instead, the person could have said, we cannot hear you. Let's go on some of the good words that was used. I mean, I wouldn't say good word. I would say like they were good metaphors and captivating phrases. One of them was used by DTM VP Menon, and he said, "Time flies, but you are the pilot." And I think I love that so much. And another, phrase that was used was, "I need to be expert in something valuable." And this was used by speaker TM Nahid. Another phrase, that was used by, again, DTM VP Menon was, I think this was like a metaphor that said, pacing sound effect. And I think this is one of a very good way, to describe when you have like, a discussion in conversation. Another phrase, that I found, let me say like a very good metaphor that was used by one of our guests, which is a guest Atiasi, was, dramatic gaming activities. And this was when he was describing, what happens when you have like a new member in your family, when you've been the only child for a long time. And DTM Ari used a very interesting word, and I think I find it as a captivating phrase, is good is the enemy of great. And I think this is one word that we should actually, pay attention to. And one
Sorry to
metaphor.
interfere. All the 3 minutes, 3 minutes that is going to cost.
Oh, sorry. Okay, the last one, which was a very interesting vocabulary, was improvise. That's all for me, and over to you, TM.
Thank you, Toastmaster Uba. Let's give him a big round of applause. Oh. And thank you, CB, for being that strict timer, which is very, very important. If Toastmaster Uba, if there's something which has been missed out and you could not get time, you can always put it in the group, the WhatsApp group, so people will know if there's anything else that you wish to report on. We will now, although we are running a bit late, there's somebody who's come prepared for some fun, and I don't want to miss that out. So Nadine, very quickly, you have like 5 minutes.
I will not accept less than 5 minutes.
Okay. So
no,
CB, 5 minutes to Nadine for the fun session, and the fun starts now.
Okay, no introduction from my side, guys. I just want to say thank you to Sagar, Devi, and Kapil. Okay, let's start. I know you are all unimpeachable. I trust you totally. If you want to help any participant, please, I really trust you. I don't want you to write more than one word. So if you want to help, just write one word as, like a help to the relevant to the story. Okay, can you see share screen?
Yes.
Okay. First thing is guess the proverb. Let me see the time. Okay, 9:04. Okay. Guess the proverb emoji. Picture quiz. So there is emojis in each picture. I want you to say or to guess the proverb or the movie. Just give me 1 minute. I need to get it from the beginning. Okay, we'll choose my volunteers who didn't volunteer. Okay, Divi, can you choose which movie is this one? You can write, guys, in the chat only one word. Divi?
Devil.
Okay, I think I got this. The Devil Wears Prada.
Bravo, Saleh. This is for you, Divi. Saleh. Saleh.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
second picture, just
Women's
1
are
minute.
devil. No, the next one.
1 minute, guys. Sorry, something wrong with.
We
Okay.
can see it, Nadeem.
Huh?
We can see it. The next slide.
Okay, the next one. You can see it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the next one. Saleh. A movie, famous one.
Titanic.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye. Next one, Roshan. Aye.
I don't know what is this. This is very long, I believe. World can see.
The first one, what does it mean?
That is a couple of VP Menons on the screen.
Okay.
I think the world can see you.
Okay.
I can see you. Yeah, I don't know.
Shall I move? Move on?
Yep.
It's a romantic movie. Come on, quickly.
No, I'm bad with movies also, so no.
Okay, last one. Last one. VP Menon, do you know? Julia Roberts.
I love food.
Julia Roberts.
Pretty
One of the
Woman.
best movies. Guys.
Eat, pray,
Pretty
and
Woman.
Pray, love.
Bravo. Okay.
Julia Roberts, I remember only Pretty Woman, nothing else.
Okay. Now can I have if you know the answer, just make unmute because I can't see the volunteers or I can't see the pictures. I'm so slow with computers, sorry. Okay, now let me see. Dr. Balan, are you here? Please.
You're showing medicines to the doctor.
Yes, I want Dr. Balan. No? Okay.
Yeah,
Wafa.
we have Dr. Wafa.
Dr. Wafa.
I have no idea what
It's
is
a
that.
proverb. It's a proverb. It's a saying, not a movie now. We changed.
Laughter is the.
Nadine, I already typed the answer.
Yeah, yeah, Bosco had already answered.
I don't want the answer, Bosco. I said you are unspeakable. Please, only one word to help the participant, okay? Or otherwise you say it. Dr. Wafa.
I have no idea what is this.
Laughter is
Good medicine.
It's good, but okay.
Laughter is the best medicine. Okay, Dr. Wafa again. Come on, this is easy.
This is what, a proverb or a movie?
A proverb.
Apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Okay, let's move to someone else. Bosco, can you come?
Yeah, yeah.
Nadine, you're bad with dates, huh?
The
Today is
NATO phonetic,
26.
the NATO phonetic alphabet. I will say a word. You get me the opposite of this word. Okay. Okay.
I don't understand, but let's try.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say the letters of one word. Okay. It's a 3 letters from one word. I need you to get me the opposite meaning of this word. Okay.
Okay.
Foxtrot, uniform, November. Foxtrot, uniform, November.
Fun.
Fun. So the opposite.
Opposite of fun.
Yes. Just say it. Any word.
Oh my God. I don't know what is the opposite of. I know only fun. I don't know the opposite of fun.
Misery. Boredom. Okay. Can I say another word?
Okay.
Okay. Let's say the
Light is red, huh?
Okay, light is red. Okay. Okay. Opposite of. Okay. Just let it be. I will do the last one. Anyone? Sagar, can you come?
I'm here.
Can you tell me which shape, which geometric shape you will use for any of these things that I will say? Okay, I will say 3 words or 4 words. You choose which geometric shape to use. Got it? Okay, the easiest one choose. Pyramids, star, house, or smiley face? Choose one word and tell me which geometric shape you will use. Pyramid, star, house,
yeah, your
or
birth
smiley face?
country. I will choose pyramid.
Okay, which one you use? Which geometric shape you use?
Triangle.
How many pyramids?
I will use four dimensions.
Allah, it's so many pyramids in Egypt. You won. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It was fun having you on fun discussion. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Nadine. We wish we had more time to play this well, but probably some other day when we have our family event or something else. But thank you very much for doing this for us. Yeah.
Thank you.
And let's give Nadine a big round of applause. And I would also like to tell you about Nadine, that she is a procurement and logistics coordinator with Emirates Airline. And her story is about Prophet Yusuf, how he remains patient and faithful, even when facing trials after trials. So what she has learned from this story is I've learned that I should try to pick myself up and continue in my path with patience. At the end, it's my destiny. I'll go through the good and the bad and be grateful and always believe in God. Very powerful way to change the stories in your head. Thank you for sharing that, Nadine. And now we will move on to our next segment, which is the General Evaluator. And this is somebody who's been keeping a watch on the entire meeting, what we've been doing right, what we've not been doing right, and will give us an evaluation of the overall meeting. And to do this, we have a very, very experienced Toastmaster who's been with the club for a long time, and that is distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh. He says he's an airline executive, but he is somebody really big in the airline industry. and one story which has made a big impact on him is that everything happens for good, which he read in Chandamama comics. These are some comics which we used to read in India as children. I have said this story thousands of times, and it often has helped me to stay positive in the most testing situations. So a very powerful learning from these stories is whatever happens, happens for good. So with that, I would like all of you to help me welcome our distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh to give the general evaluation report.
Thank you, VP. And end of a wonderful session. I know we are running behind on schedule, so I'm going to keep it as crisp as possible. And a few things in terms of the beginning of the meeting. I was quietly coming in at 6:30. I could see a lot of activity. I could see a lot of interaction with the guests, and definitely VP was engaging with the new members and talking them about the benefits. Fantastic, the right way to start the meeting. And sharp at 6:45, we had the VP education and saying, well, okay, start. It's 6:45, start. Amazing job by the VP education. Not only was the VP education's start amazing, I was monitoring her throughout the meeting. She was glued, and I think she was pumping adrenaline right through the meeting, constantly monitor what is happening and supporting everybody. Great job, amazing job, DV. just no words to kind of appreciate you. Good opening by the president, kind of with an anecdote, and then introducing the senior members of the club as well as introducing the guests. One recommendation I would have for the president is when you speak, because what people see is very little of you, and when you're spotlighted, they see that big thing of you. Your body language is very, very important. Okay, when you're talking, if you need to have high energy, you need to be sitting upright into the camera, talking without it. The moment you have the kind of a swing in your chair, it kind of takes the seriousness out of it. People notice it, and that's what is talking about going from good to great. Because everything, whatever I'm talking about our club, is because we are a fantastic club, and how we maintain the standards and get even more. A fantastic session in terms of the team, how the team will be introduced, the various role players. And unfortunately, I missed out a little bit on the word of the day. Master, because I had some internet connectivity issues. I had to go on to a backup and then get back online. Started off everything good, and good adjustment when we did not have the moment of truth, the education session there. Instant decision saying that table topic comes in first, and we had the moment of truth later. I'm not going to talk about the speakers, very good icebreaker speeches, and both very well evaluated by the two evaluators. Dr. Wafa, excellent evaluation, very motivating, very energizing. Toastmaster Avdhut, good evaluation, good positive suggestions. Only recommendation I would do is a little bit more energy and more pace in which you give the evaluation. That will definitely make it to the next level. The moment of truth, good, crisp one. What I would have liked the moment of truth DTM Hari to have done is before we had the people doing the poll, explaining a little bit, at least a brief about what this moment of truth is about, what are all the 6 pillars of the moment of truth, 6 different aspects, and how people have to do. Especially there are a lot of new members. We left them a little bit on the lurch and saying that, okay, here is how we go do it without a bit of explanation. And good summary, a good way, I think, how handled 6 breakout rooms. Everybody there come out and then give the suggestions for a minute each. Good, and the good summary by DTM Hari and for the XCOM to note and how they are going to take this forward. This is a very serious exercise, and I was very happy in terms of the notes and what came to the XCOM, and I'm sure the dynamic, energetic XCOM what we have is going to take all of these and definitely take us from good to great. A few things in terms of the timing is very, very important. It came out in a session when we are doing the moment of truth. I think all of that could be summarized the way the timer Sibi was most of the time. He was hands like this. I think, will we be on time? I think that is the kind of frustration he had. And I think it's very important we do on time. Huge amount of responsibility on the team OD. VP made a statement to say that, okay, once in a while he goes off of time. I think quite frequently he goes behind time. I think that is something which we need to do, and we have to be on time. I think it's a challenge we will have to cut out. And rather than cutting out other role players, my recommendation is for the team OD to cut out the things what you have planned, especially if you are not going on schedule. A fantastic job by the accounter and the grammarian. Over fantastic, amazing grammarian report. Not only talking about the flaws which people made and identifying the good uses of language, excellent. And one thing which I have to really applaud is the number of new members who have picked up various roles and the kind of energy in which through which they did it. Fantastic, and that is something which as DChaps or Dubai Toastmaster Club members, we are all very proud of, and how new people come and take on the reins and then march us forward. Very sorry, Nadine, your time had to be cut and we really had to be squeezed, and you knew a lot of efforts had been put by your side. Unfortunately, we had to cut it short. I'm sure when we have a fun session, we will do it. Overall, a fantastic meeting up to the standards what DTC is all about, and I'm sure with the continuous focus, we will definitely move from good to great. Thank you very much, VP. And you know, the story is amazing, and life is, I think, one of the best ways people move. One of the great assets of great leaders is storytelling. The way when you communicate a story, that is when you inspire people and move it. And I'm sure if you had more time, VP would have given even more stories. And overall, very professionally done. Thank you very much, VP. And over to you.
Thank you, DTM Ramesh Anantaraman. A big round of applause to Ramesh. All your suggestions are well taken, and I'm going to cut a lot of things that I wanted to say, but I will tell it on the WhatsApp group. But I want to say one thing. that I did not cut Nadine's time. It was 5 minutes and we gave her 5 minutes. Otherwise, she would have killed me. And I dare not cut her time. So very nice. So I had few more things to say. I had some activities to do, but we don't have the time. But I want to leave you with one last slide, which I want to show you before I wind up and hand you back to the president. Let me just share the screen for that. And that's this slide. Yeah, this is a very, very important slide. It says that you have the power. Yeah. At any given moment, you have the power to say. What's this? Yeah, VP has to do this. Okay, I got muted too. So it says that at any given moment, you have the power to say this is not how the story is going to end. And what I mean by this is, so it's like what is your story till now is something that you have to look at, about your own life. What is your story? What is your story that you have scripted till now? And what is the story you want to create for yourself going forward? And remember, you have the power to change that script. Yeah, it's your life, it's your story, and you have the power to create the story that you want to create for yourself. So go ahead and create an amazing story, which when you look back, you feel proud of. Yeah, and forget what others think of that story. That's not important. Yeah, what matters is, are you proud of your story? So look back and think, and remember, today is the day when you are going to script the next part of your life, starting today. So that's completely in your control. So with that, I stop share and I conclude my session. I would like everybody to vote for the best role player before I hand you back to the president. So for the best role player, Divi, would you like to just tell who are the role players?
I have launched the polls.
Okay. And is this only for members?
This is only for members again.
Okay. So please cast your vote for the best role player.
I'm getting the responses. You can continue.
Nadine's role is not there.
Whose role?
Nadine's role.
Oh,
Nadine was planning to vote for
Fun master.
Yeah, because that was
sorry, this was just taken from the last time.
Nadine will get a special prize.
Yeah, we'll give her a special.
For her, there is a special.
So TMOD is not part of the role player, VP Menon? I have a question. So the TMOD is not part of the role player?
TMOD is not part of the role player. Okay, we can continue. I've got the results.
Oh, thank you, Divi. So, okay, I'm unmuted. Thank you very much. So that is done. Now we are at 9:23, and I would like the president to make sure that we end the meeting before time. That is before 9:30. And with that wise words from me to the president, I hand back the control of the meeting to our president. Please welcome our president, Toastmaster Sagar, with a big round of applause. And we are going to finish on time, distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh Anantaraman, and this is dedicated to you. President Sagar, it's your responsibility now.
Thank you, DTM VP Menon. I will request everyone to unmute yourself and have a big round of applause for our TMOD of the day. We learned a lot today. Thank you so much, DTM VP Menon, for a wonderful session and making our day memorable. So we are short of time, so I will quickly go to our award ceremony. Let me share my screen. You can see my screen. Thank you. So it is one of the most awaited session of our club's meeting. It's called Awards and Achievements. So today we have less time, so I quickly went through the awards. So let's together congratulate our best role player. So I know we already guessed it right. If you are guessing, is our very own DTM Ramesh Anantrama. A big round of applause for him. Thank you, DTM Ramesh. Now, the best evaluator. We have two evaluators today. So that prize is going to none other than our experienced evaluator, Toastmaster Avdhut. It was a very close tie between the results of evaluators. The best table topic speakers. Our very own ex-VP Education, Toastmaster Minesh. Now, the best speaker. The both speakers were doing their icebreakers, so both are the winners. But we have to choose one according to the majority. So she is our own Toastmaster Nahid. Now, this is something very special for the DTC. And you have already knew from last week that our very own senior member became DTM. And he's none other than our very own DTM Balan Vijay Kumar. I will again request everyone to unmute yourself and give a big round of applause. Dr. Balan Vijay Kumar.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dr. Balan Vijay Kumar, becoming a DTM and motivating all of us. Now, this is something, as we told in the Moments of Truth, and as told by DTM VP Menon also, we have a lot of first timers. So you can see the numbers. So I would like to congratulate everyone who has done, the first timers, starting from Toastmaster Babita, Toastmaster CV, Toastmaster Oba, Toastmaster Gengia, Toastmaster Nahid, Toastmaster Misha. So this is also one of the wonderful achievement as a club when a lot of new members are coming and taking the roles. So I congratulate everyone and all the best in their journey. Now we are having our next meeting on 9th of August, and the meeting will be conducted by our very own passionate Toastmaster Sandeep Atnani. And the theme will be your choices build your life. So it's going to be one of the amazing sessions of this year. So I will request everyone to be present in the meeting and enjoy the session. That's it from my side. Before closing this, I would like to take the feedback from the guest. So I will request guests to be a little quick. So I will start with Toastmaster Bob. Would you like to say anything?
Pure brilliance, generally. Definitely enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bob. Any other guest?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I've learned so much and I'm so encouraged to join this Toastmaster club.
Thank you, thank you.
Really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to come?
Yes, this is Patricia. This is my first time with Dubai Toastmasters as well. And it was very interesting. The table topics were amazing. And I think I would definitely like to see another session. I want to join on your next meeting as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Patricia. So we will be following up with all the guests are present today, one-to-one by our very own VP membership. So the guest follow will be done with all the guests present today. So that's it from my side, keeping in mind the time frame. Thank you so much. I officially declare the meeting closed.